Evening, everybody. Welcome to the September 19th, 2016 meeting of the Weare Board of Selectmen. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And please join us for a moment of silence. Thank you. Floor is open for public comment. You're on the agenda, though.
Yeah, no, it's a public comment. Well, I'm here. Might as well use my time wisely. Yeah, so hey, publicly, I just wanted to say, the Department of Public Works came up and rebuilt Pondview and Mount Wayne Pond Road and did a fantastic job. So just want to publicly say thanks, and thanks for the board for involvement with that. I know we'd mentioned, so it just looks great. If you get a chance to look at it, they did a nice job. And just number two, quick public comment. I had a long discussion with Tom about vehicle replacement, specifically with the police department. I just want to say, I understand, I think the lease to own was on there last year. It might go on again this year. I would really rather see the town just pay for whatever we need to buy. Because to me, someone's making a little extra money with a routine like that. But just my belief, just pay for it. I don't think it's going to kill us for a warrant article, but
you have a lot of friends out there who will agree with you on that.
One of them.
No, if they need it, they need it. But it's just kind of a game, lease to own versus just pay for it. Figure out how many you need to replace a year and pay for them. Be done with it. We're all adults. Someone's got to come to recognize eventually. If you want to have them, you got to pay for them.
So question about your road. It's nice and smooth now?
Yeah.
How's the speed now?
Speed?
Yeah. Cars flying up and down the road now that it's nice and smooth?
No,
or?
I think they're the same. It's like, it's a pretty short run there. At least for me, because I got to slow down and take the right. That's kind of a hard corner. Why, have you heard one of you speeding?
No, that's usually the next time.
No, maybe going way down
after
the road.
a road gets fixed up, the next few meetings, it's
pave it and turn it into a drag strip.
Hey, in the
we
winter
do something about the speed.
In the wintertime, though, you'll be able to get going faster to make the run up the hill on the private part of Pondview. The big thing is, the sliding down in the winter, too, when you get onto the town road off the hill. Have you been up my hill there?
A long time ago.
Come on over and visit. Thank you.
Any other public comment? Okay. Department head committee items. I recognize Karen Stogner to talk about Chase Park CIP expenditure.
Okay, so we have our 3 quotes that we needed in order to move forward with the bathhouse renovation. We don't have to go into public, non-public anything, right?
No.
Nope.
Okay.
No, you put it out for bid, because Karen sent it over and put it out to bid, and we had talked, and she needed at least 3 quotes, which she received 3 quotes. I haven't seen them. She's received them and took them to Parks and Rec.
Yep.
And that's why she's here.
Right. So we've picked one of the 3 that you think.
You can give their names and amounts. They've been opened.
Oh, okay. So the first one is the one we picked, if that's okay.
Yeah.
Let's start with them. It's through Onyx Construction out of Raymond, New Hampshire. His total project cost, including all of the add-ons that we had the bathhouse renovation, but then we also had painting the outside of the building and replacing the 3 doors for the men's room, the women's room, and the control room, so to speak. So this includes that whole thing, and his price is $19,162.
And that's an Onyx?
Onyx, O-N-Y-X.
Is it construction company or?
Yep, Onyx Construction.
Okay.
The next one that we got was through Davis Construction out of Jaffrey. His price just for the bathhouse, not including the painting on the outside of the building and the doors, was $20,009. The total project, if he did the other two items, was $25,350. And then the last one was Art Rogers Carpentry, for a total of $18,840.
What was the
But-
price again?
$18,840.
18.
Yeah. He's the lowest bid, but the reason we didn't go with him because he followed up with I don't know if I can get to this when you want me to get to it. So, we're looking to obviously get this done before the park opens again next season. So we have pretty much a window between now and mid-November, and then when the snow melts to when the park opens, which who knows when that will be.
Okay.
We'd like to move forward with Onyx.
Is there a CIP?
I don't have it with me, and I don't honestly know. Do you know how much is in there? Do you guys have the last slip I gave you?
He came in under what
Right,
is-
I'm just saying the capital reserve balance for Chase Park. Ricky, do you have your book?
It was 27.5 when we spent 400 so far.
Okay.
I knew you had enough in there, I just wasn't sure the balance of it. I know I went in the email, but take it out.
Karen, did you check any references on Onyx construction?
I haven't yet. I need to do that. I can do that.
I think I'd make a motion, but it would include pending positive references.
Okay. Do I have to come back again?
Hmm?
Do I have to come back again?
No,
No,
no.
no, the motion would, well, we'll make it and we'll explain it before we vote on it.
Yeah,
You do that, Tom?
yeah, I will. I move that we hire Onyx Construction at a figure $19,162 to refurbish the bathhouse at and restrooms at Chase Park. And again, dependent on positive references.
And the money is coming out of,
The money come out of the, what's it called? The
Chase Park Repair Maintenance Fund? Is that all?
Renovation. I
I'm
don't forget what the
I'm looking at the
CIP
one from
is
the
called.
bank.
Chase Park Repair and Maintenance Fund.
Yeah. Which has a balance of $22,501.02.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? So the motion, Karen, is to spend the money out of that fund to hire this construction company, as long as when you call for references, they're positive. If you get a negative reference, then you'll have to come back and talk about it.
Okay.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
I think we'd usually look for like 3 references.
That was my next question. How many do I need?
Yeah.
Okay. I make the phone calls.
Or I can if you want me to.
Well, I don't mind doing it. I
Okay.
want to make sure that I do it, not.
Yep, that's fine.
On a different note, Karen, I just want to tell you that the staff that you had down there working this summer did an excellent job.
Oh, good.
I was down there quite a few times.
We try to
And
try
they
to
did.
pick people that are
They did a great job. All the kids did a real good job.
good. We're still going. Weekends. it's
Yeah,
Columbus
weekends
Day.
I see, but I mean, during the rest of the time, I've been down there both, and they've
Good.
done a
I
really
shall.
good
I
job.
will tell them all that you said so. So I have more
Okay, okay.
as a department head. So I was reading through your notes from last meeting, and Keith brought up the irrigation at the fields, how it used to be retimed. Just come to me. I can take care of it.
Well, I got a panicked phone call from Steph.
Oh, yeah, she texted
That
me.
during a soccer game,
The
the
things
sprinklers
came
came on.
Yeah,
And I
and
don't
we've
think the
been-
players really minded, they were running
No.
around through it, but she wanted it turned off.
Yeah, we took care of that, and I plan with her.
Okay.
Because we have it right now watering twice a day because we have had no rain.
Well, I called
Pete?
Pete, and he said it was set to 3 times because of the drought, and he said it needs to be dialed back. Yeah?
Should be just.
Okay, what he said.
That's what the irrigation guy told me.
Yeah, well, the grass looks good, so whatever you did over
It
the
works.
summer, it worked.
Yeah, well, it didn't look so great. That's why we had it changed. So, okay, and then I kind of have a spiel. If that's all right. It'll be quick though. So, as you know, the Park Commission is appointed the task of maintaining all the parks and the facilities, structures, and buildings. Bolton, Purington, Inison, the tennis courts, gazebo field, skate park, and Chase Park are what we oversee. Unfortunately, this past CIP time around, poor Tom was there, we presented a couple of items, and Melissa Drury, who's also on the board, and I left a little discouraged. We take the work we put into these things fairly seriously, and I feel like at the CIP meeting that we had, we put forth a tennis court proposal to yeah, I know, to see about putting it on the ballot, and we didn't get real great reception on that. We left really discouraged. We do put time and effort into the projects that we want to put forward, and the second one was the boat ramp and some remediation of one of the hills over at Chase Park that's kind of keeps sliding into the lake. So, we had a conversation with CIP. The tennis court kind of got the bump before it even got started. And then we have to go back on Wednesday with a revised kind of boat ramp proposal. I think that's the one we're going to go with, not the land fixing over there. Anyway, so our operating budget doesn't let us do these huge projects. We kind of just maintain what's there, and then obviously we're required to go to CIP with hopes that they'll say, okay, yeah, that's a great idea, let's put this on the ballot for everybody to vote for, and that's not how I feel like it's going for us, and we just have these big projects that we can't get to, and everything is going into disrepair. We were lucky enough to have the bathhouse approved, I think because it was such a low number, but then we have the tennis court that's going to cost $105,000 to fix or redo, not even fix it, because fixing it, I don't think at this point is even an option. And then the boat ramp also is a huge amount of money. So we have all this money coming in from the revenue at Chase Park. I had some numbers run from Beth, who over the past 6 years, every year, it brings in approximately $20,000. So, thinking outside of the box, the Park Commission would like to propose a warrant article to have the revenue from the park go into a revolving fund. So I'm not sure how to do that. I have wording prepared if that's something that can be entertained, because we're just never going to get. Everything's just going to keep declining when we don't have the funding to even necessarily maintain it. So I'm looking to you guys to tell me what I need to do to.
Have you contacted Fish and Game about the boat ramp?
Yep.
And no assistance there?
They don't have funding.
Oh, because they used to have a separate section that worked on boat ramps.
They do, but they're not willing to provide local funding or assistance for it.
Or no assistance.
Their guys are their guys, and they see us as our own entity. So we have a very rough number. We did meet with somebody over at Chase Park on Friday who hopefully will get me some pretty solid numbers by tomorrow, so I can forward our CIP proposal again. A lot of the revenue over there is from people using the boat ramp. We have resident people getting stickers, non-resident fees that come in for both just visiting the park as well as boating and any sort of swim lessons that we have over there. The revenue comes in from that also. So between 2010 and 2016, there's been a pretty even level of revenue coming in over there that we feel if it was put into some sort of revolving fund that we would have access to over 3 years, we could have a new boat ramp. Or
Keith?
new tennis
Yeah.
court.
Actually, at deliberative session last year, that was something that came up for discussion along with a few other things. I think that was on the list that I gave you to look into. A revolving fund, first of all, whether it's it's in a category that the state statutes would allow, because they're fussy on exactly what can be used as a revolving fund and what isn't. And I think that if we go ahead and propose it, then maybe between you and Naomi come up with a wording for it, if it is a
I
possibility.
believe it is. It's one of the lists.
And then it would be up to the board to decide whether they want to put it on the ballot. Because what it would do is, if it's $20,000, you said, let's just say 25,000, it would mean 25,000 less in revenue that would go into the general fund and offset taxes. So that would be the argument that people would have. And I'm not arguing against it. I'm just saying that would be what would be argued, that it cuts the revenues. But
But it would save on us going with.
it saves on the
CIP
aggravation of going out to
rather
ask for
than
something. And
asking every few years for another
Yeah.
0.2 cents added to their tax rate. You know.
the other thing, Karen, I didn't necessarily come away from the CIP meeting feeling that people were being negative, but they were questioning, because I think we were a little unclear on the proposal for the rehabilitating the shorefront over there.
And that's not the one that we really.
And then the
had
tennis
issues
court,
with. The tennis court
I think
one was
that
a little
everybody's
frustrating.
mouth kind of dropped when they heard $100,000. And then we went from there, and that was one part of it. The other part was that, over the years we've heard about, should we be looking ahead to some type of a library expansion in the future? And if that's the case, another piece of the discussion was, is it possible to, if we're going to totally rebuild that from scratch and not just repair it, relocate it? And, I don't know. I drove up around Inison Field, for example, because at one point we had a skateboard park, a mini skateboard park we put up there when the school was being built. But someplace like that that's tied in with another athletic facility, but we don't know because the land was donated. We don't know if it's possible, and there was federal money involved. So there's so many pieces floating around there. So don't take it to heart like we weren't listening. But it's you've got the price, then you've got the location issue. So that it's still open for discussion. You haven't really been closed out on that.
Yeah, I did look into, after our meeting, whether or not it could be turned into a parking lot. And you can do that with the approval of the Secretary of the Interior, because it was, federal funds were used to erect the tennis courts in the first place.
Yeah, I think if we were proposing to just simply demolish it and turn it into a parking lot, there'd be a problem.
There would be definitely a
But
problem.
if it was a matter of an even swap, if the money was approved, we want to relocate it to this place on town land, it doesn't seem like that would be an issue, but.
Right, yeah, you would have to find an acceptable location to put it.
And I don't know where that would be. I just checked out one
Yeah,
area.
I know you guys have mentioned East Road, which seems way down the future. So, I don't know, I know people use it, and it's just kinda unusual, really.
Well, I'm trying to be encouraging. Don't give up.
I know.
Keep pushing.
So really, my main concern is this revolving fund. I think if that can be considered and we can draft some wording, which I kind of already have. I don't know where to go from here to to try and get it. Okay.
Right there to start.
And
Yeah.
Right, department heads will bring warrant articles to us, and we vote on whether or not to include them on
on the ballot.
the ballot.
Okay. Okay. Oh, wait, that's another thing. Staying on the tennis court path, Tom knows, we kind of went over this at the CIP meeting. We attempted to get funding through the Mildred Hall Fund for the tennis court. Initially, they were super open to it, and we gave them a whole proposal, much like we did for the grant that we put together last year. And then we received a letter back from them indicating that since the tennis courts are on town-owned land, the Board of Selectmen must be the body requesting the funding. And then you guys could appoint Park and Rec as the entity to expend the funds. So, I don't know, there are other questions.
Who approaches, conservation approaches them typically, right, for the projects that they've funded? And then it comes before us to actually be the agents to expend, so it almost sounds backward the way that
Backwards.
we
And
normally see.
that's what we kind of thought.
Yeah.
Maybe depending.
Yeah, I was going to
What's
check that
going on.
out for you, but I didn't get to it.
Okay.
That may not be the case though, because you know that really big one back when we did the Eastman, that kind of just materialized. I'm not sure who actually approached them that time. That all went on the warrant article, so officially the whole town body voted on it. And then more recently, it's more like PLC or the Forest Society approaches them. We usually don't directly. So that may not be the case. I don't know.
But it's not us, we never have, that I can think of.
No,
Maybe
they're
for
just asking
repairs to
agents
town hall or
stuff.
something.
Yeah.
Like they told us all that after we had done all the
Well,
work already.
what if we just had a motion tonight, sort of approving the Parks and Rec Committee going ahead and making the request?
Representing us.
I think if they send a letter saying that it ought to come directly from the board, if they said they want the selectmen,
Park and Rec are the ones who, that's in their scope anyways.
but we send a request saying it's for Parks and Rec, if that's what they want, I don't see. I think if we make a motion to go the other way, it's that they may kick it back again, and we may be back at square one. They've
I
already
don't
put
know,
it in
they've got
writing,
meeting
so.
notes from the selectmen saying that we're delegating that authority to Park and Rec.
Okay.
I mean, they haven't really committed to anything because, you know, they would only fund up to 50% of the project, and then you'd be responsible for funding the rest. But they would be looking for questions to be answered as far as, well, whether the tennis courts are a town responsibility when the land was given by the Colburns back, who knows when. I tried looking for the deed and I couldn't find it on the registry of deeds, but I've since got more information from Wendy, so that should help me try and find it. I don't know, so if we can maybe revisit this. It'd be helpful to have funding from them.
Yeah. Want to
Let
make a
me check.
motion? Let's see what.
Either
how it works.
I can check it out during the week, and we can, Karen would have to come back next week for us to talk to somebody on the committee to get a clearer picture of what they're asking for, or
Yeah.
make a motion, I don't care, either way, but
Elizabeth Straw is the signer on this letter. So,
that certainly, I think, would move the project along on the warrant. It's pretty enticing if a substantial piece of it is being paid for
Yeah.
out of private funds.
right.
It's not really private funds because it's for
It's left
town
to the
business.
town.
Yeah, it's left to the town.
But a great way to spend it.
It's an
Making
incentive.
that motion.
I'll come back whenever you need me to come back.
Well,
I'm just
I
trying to
think we ought do
formulate it.
research first before we make the motion. I think that if we're making a motion that's,
I think just clarification on
that's
what they
what I'm saying.
really
I
are
think the
expecting.
motion would just be to delegate, I think it doesn't really change the way that I envision the way Park and Rec works now. They're the ones responsible for, just as Karen said at the beginning, the tennis courts, Chase Park, and all of our athletic fields.
Well, yeah, and their authority's delegated from the board, but I'm saying at this point, they're sending a letter saying they want something from the selectmen. I'd do the research to make sure we get all the ducks in a row.
I'm just not sure
before we
how
do that.
they-
So,
how
I mean,
they work.
that's my feeling, but
If they,
instead of having us spin our wheels and find out that we gotta start back all over again.
That's fine, just a week.
do they
Yeah,
usually deal with
so.
not town-owned property?
They deal sometimes with private properties that are looking to have easements purchased on them
Oh.
to prevent them from development. That's the projects that we've been seeing
right,
come
right.
out of them. So it's private property.
Yeah.
Someone's saying, we'll sell an easement on, is it an easement? Is
For
that the right word?
conservation.
So that nobody,
Conservation
so that it'll
easement.
promise it'll never get developed
Right,
and
right.
it can be open to public recreation or whatever.
So this isn't typical.
No, but
No.
it's not something out of the realm
Yeah.
of their scope either.
Okay. I'm happy to just print it off and have you, have one of you sign it and resend it. That'll, after you review the proposal.
Did
Well,
you
lem-
want to talk to them?
Yeah, let me check it out. I don't know who the chair is now, but I'll contact somebody on and find out and what the, not, and again, I don't think we're necessarily saying, yeah, we're going to go ahead and do this. We're just saying, let's find out
No, no,
what it is that
right.
they're asking
I
for.
want to explore that further if they're willing to
Okay.
help.
I'll do that this week.
What's that?
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
And I'll be real nice at CIP next time, just so I don't.
You were fine. You were great. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Good night.
This time I recognize Steve Najar for a trails contract discussion.
Thank you for taking the time to invite me. Naomi asked me to come over and talk about this. So there's been, a lot of public interest in developing various, multiple use trails in Weare on some of the town forests or conservation lands. And so the Conservation Commission and the Trails Subcommittee folks have been working on this. We developed, the Conservation Commission, along with Jeremy, the town forester, came up with basically an outline for an assessment and development of a 10-year plan to develop trails on town forest. And I sent Naomi an email just to see how we needed to work with the town's purchasing rules. In the distant past, kind of get the feedback that really using the conservation fund wasn't strictly held to the town purchasing standards. And our feeling is probably to go ahead and use like a best value type approach. We send out this request for proposal and see how the respondents come back and pick a contractor, not necessarily low bid. We did that with the town forest. That's how we ended up with Meadowsen Timberlands. And what it all boiled down to at that point was Jeremy and Meadowsen answered our request for proposal exactly, whereas some of the other foresters did not, and that just helped us sort it out. This is a pretty comprehensive assessment. We're looking at we voted to set aside, not necessarily spend, up to $25,000 on this out of the conservation account. So we're asking someone to go out there to look and see what we've got on the ground, to map them, using a GIS grade GPS receiver, which gets you within probably a meter or two where the trail actually is, and then put it into the geographic information system format that we already have. We have that on the Conservation Commission laptop, and then also that's the same thing that like the Planning Commission uses, or Fish and Game or anybody else that does land management. We want to. So one of the problems we ran into with the Trails Subcommittee is we kind of dove into the idea of making a trail in Eastman like last year, and it turned into a disaster. We had 2 contractors make these ridiculous proposals, wicked expensive to build a few trails, essentially to kind of nowhere. We said, we need to do a reset here and approach this coherently. I ran into a guy that's a forester he's from Vermont, but he works in northern New Hampshire. It was kind of interesting talking to him. He had done this sort of approach, I think it was around the Littleton area. So there are actually there's some different groups in New Hampshire that'll build trails, not necessarily like a contractor, not non-profit types. There's also some groups that'll teach people to build trails. So if you got a really active trail committee and they want to build trails under the supervision of someone who knows what they're doing, I think that's the approach we need to take. So, if you look down through the bullets here, a lot of them are, look for funding opportunities, provide trail maintenance contractors, marking standards, which are very important, things like kiosks. We've got in here references, examples of things they've done similar in scope. So I just wanted to make sure that the Board of Selectmen were on board with taking that approach, or if you had some insight. Also, this is a good opportunity for public input. One thing I think that leads to some confusion too is the idea of defining what a trail is, because I've heard feedback different towns have great trails, but you got to think, what do they start with? Is it a rail bed that they got? Is it a class 6 road that they turn into a trail? So where we've got some nice class 6 roads that are still class 6s, so you can drive a truck down them or whatever. And I personally don't think that should change. That's just my opinion. The only rail bed that I really know of, the one that runs kind of north-south, and half of it's underwater, and it's still owned by B&M. So I don't know about the viability. And the other thing that I just want everyone to be aware of, so the Conservation Commission has essentially taken, our mission is we do like regulatory type stuff, we review permits, right? We look at development and provide feedback to the planning board, and we manage land. We just manage town land. One thing about trail systems, this is just a personal view on this, Conservation Commission is pretty well suited to manage trails on its land. Making the connection across other ownerships, private or, state, federal, whatever. I mean, if you really want to have a really big trail system, we've got to do that at some point. And so hopefully we can reach out to some other groups here, but in the long run, maybe a trails committee should be, kind of a standalone thing that gets some sort of funding. But hopefully once we get this in place, we'll have a better idea of what's going on and where our trails are, where we can link things up. Because this isn't just, it's not just walking trails. It's, hopefully we get a picture of what the snowmobile trails are doing, what the class 6s kind of look like, but at least definitely on town lands, but through the outreach part of this to the other organizations. So I think that'll give us a look at least. And I'm not sure, Clef obviously has some stuff over there. They've got roads. I'm not sure what they've got for trails, but that's kind of the game plan, but mostly focused on, on town land. I don't know if there's anything we can do better, any suggestions, if people are comfortable with using the conservation fund for that. That's where the agents to expend on that.
I think it's a great use of those funds.
Yeah.
Good.
This GIS mapping you talked about, is this going to be open to the public to look at the GIS mapping too, or is it just on your computer?
No, so the GIS, most people can't really run the GIS software. What that really translates into is taking products. So the GIS can export a, I don't want to be too techy, but a GeoPDF, right? So the PDF files that we all use, they have an embedded georeferencing system. So you can get, it's called Avenza, for your phone. Let me just get the exact name of it here. It's pretty cool, anybody's got a smartphone. It's PDF Maps is the name of the app, so that's one thing. Another one, I think we were talking the other night about, we've got a lot of trail signs around Fair and Pond and stuff, but anywhere you can get a good cell phone signal, if you put one of those QR codes, where someone can just scan it with a phone and it'll pop to the website to whatever message you want to give them. I think we need to get more tech savvy. So yeah, they will go on as PDF maps on the the town website. We've already got some maps on there, and then the nice thing with the GeoPDF is as you're walking through the woods, you don't have to have a cell signal. It'll, at least on my phone, the iPhones, it'll show a little blue dot where you're standing on the map. So it's pretty cool. I don't know how many, if all the phone systems use that, but I would guess they do. I think the only one last year that didn't was not Android, but is there a Windows operating
Yeah,
system?
Windows.
Yeah, I think that one couldn't deal with it. But I think Android and iPhone do deal with it. Yeah, that's really important. We need to shift, and get a little more tech savvy. Where we have decent cell coverage, you can't do it if you're in a hole somewhere. It's just not going to work. Some of our lands, obviously, that's an issue.
Sounds like a
I
good
think
start.
basically, Keith, what I did is communication with Jeremy's been good, and
Yeah.
Steve and I talked, and it's nice to put it out here to let people know, because we have heard about trails and what we're not doing, and we are doing something that's moving forward, which is why I asked Steve just to come in and give a few minutes of the contract. I realize it comes from the fund that they're responsible for, but it's just a nice communication thing. The only thing, the state of New Hampshire, the DRED, our trail maps all have to be GPS coordinated.
These would be.
So whoever, it would be nice to have them look at, you talk about adjoining towns, so if there's other snowmobile trails, they're supposed to be coordinated with GPS.
Yeah, under this statement of work, I think what they would do is reach out to the, we don't expect them to map
Okay,
the private trails. If they're crossing town lands, they should
Okay.
map them, but
Sure.
if the snowmobile club is comfortable, because I know you guys do sell, our snowmobile club sells maps. I don't know if they're comfortable handing over that data, or if they have it, or forest and lands, or.
we have to hand it to the state when we apply for grant and aid.
Yeah, I don't know if we would mess up what you're doing. If we
Okay.
took it and posted it, though, then they'd kind of work around buying. So it's up to the club what they want to do, but, Spiniff, hopefully they would want to hand over whatever they have so we can include it, or PLC.
Just a thought.
Yeah, no, so it will be all GIS grade.
Okay.
Yeah.
Steve, your proposal would be for laying out where the trails would be, not for building the trails, is that correct?
Yeah, so, what we've thought so far is we need a coherent approach to trail building that's sustainable. We need to develop kind of like a forest management plan, sort of similar approach. Lay out 10 years worth of projects and, basically a schedule. And then I think once we start to cost that out, then as a town, we need to make some decisions. Do we want to stick with just using timber revenue? Is it valuable enough? Do you want to throw a warrant article at it? I don't know. I think we need to get this and then get rolling on. Or if we if you have a good group of volunteers with some professional assistance, I'm all for cutting costs, but I'm afraid of people who don't know what they're doing, getting out there building trails and then not being able to maintain them. I think that can be bad. And then also there's an environmental component to laying out trails. You don't want to go pounding through, there's a nice black cum swamp on Eastman, Not everybody's going to recognize that. You need someone who knows what they're doing to lay these things out. That's really important. And then there's a little bit of permitting if you got to cross a wetland. I think it's a pretty low level of permit. Shouldn't be very costly. We just need to watch that sort of thing. Really go after grants. I'm big on that. A lot of times as a town, we're kind of impacted by our, on our ability to get wildlife grants, that kind of thing, because it's federal money, a lot of it. So I'm not sure, but it'd be good to look in to see what's out there and get anything out of the state.
I like it. I think we've been hearing about it for quite a while now, and we've been asking voters to approve putting land in conservation, and just to have it sit and not be used is not very wise.
I think it actually gets a fair amount of use already, and we don't really have a good way to quantify that. But some of the, walk up there and you see a lot of people up there. I think Eastman's getting used.
That one's easy to get to.
It is. We've done a lot. The website, Wendy, I'm not really website savvy, honestly, but Wendy, before she left the Conservation Commission, did a ton of work. I don't know, do we have anybody, who's really good with websites now in the town? Who deals with that? Anybody?
Well, I can struggle through it, but.
Yeah, I can't.
Well,
really
each
do that.
department kind of takes care of their own.
Yeah, that's what I was
So-
afraid you're gonna say. What happened to that administrative assistant for conservation?
Actually, yeah, you'll have one next month. You mean a minute taker and stuff?
Yeah, now we should tack on website.
We'll see.
Yeah, I think you're getting plenty of traditional uses. I do think for hiking, you need to have some trails marked out and have it so people are comfortable. Not everybody likes to bushwhack. But you're right. It's great to increase it to make sure everybody can access them. So appreciate the support. I know it seems like every board, even as these, the Board of Selectmen changes a lot, it's been really supportive, and that's nice. So the townspeople have been supportive too. I think it makes for a better quality of life. So just good to go. Go ahead and put it out and give you some feedback and get something going on as far as someone selected.
Yeah.
Okay, hey.
Awesome. Thanks a lot. Have a good night.
Thank you.
I need to ask you, but Sean needs a non-public for a few minutes.
Okay.
Under A and C.
I move to go into non-public session under RSA 91A32 A and C.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
We'll be back.
She'll be back in a week, and that's what you said you'd be back in session.
She was right.
She was right. Yeah.
We were listening.
See?
Welcome back, everyone. And we're going to stay in department head committee items, and I'll recognize Police Chief Sean Kelly to talk about some
There's
training.
2 grants that he's been awarded.
Okay. So I applied in August for 2 grants, both of them that are training related. That the first one is to send Lieutenant Hebert to Roger Williams University for their mid-management training course. They have a law enforcement school. Kathleen, your tape recorder's been turned off. So.
Oh, okay. Oh, thank you, yes. I can do that. Glad one of you guys realized that.
Anyhow, and then the second one is for me to attend the Chief Executive Leadership course at the Southern Police Institute. The mid-managers training course is part of our the ongoing staff development for our leadership staff at the police department. If you'll recall, we sent Brennan Montpleasure to Roger Williams for the first line supervisor school. That was done entirely at the town's expense. In this case, we would be able to have some cost sharing with the police academy because they recognize that that particular school is excellent. When we sent Montpleasure to the first line supervisor schools during a period when the academy had lost their funding and they weren't able to do these types of grants. But that is something that they've done for some time. And then for the Chief Executive Leadership course, I need to be reminded every once in a while that I just simply don't know everything. Though some people would have me believe that's true. Anyhow, the course is all expenses related to the course is I don't have it in front of me, but it's less than $1,500, and I would suggest it's probably not much less than $1,500. And in this case, the academy has agreed to pay $1,000 of that cost, so they'll pay 2/3 of it for us to attend. So I'd ask you to accept those grants.
And those come from the New Hampshire Police Academy?
That's correct.
And you have money in your training line to take care of the additional?
Yes.
Anybody like to make a motion?
I make a motion that we accept the 2 grants from the Police Standards and Training Council for Lieutenant Hebert and Chief Kelly to go to those schools, Roger Williams and the Chief Executive School.
I'll second it. Any discussion? Tommy, look like you had a question.
No, I was going to second it. You beat me to it.
I'm good with it.
Typically, I'm not in favor of grants, but if it's coming from the police standards and training, I guess that's, to me, legitimate, so I'll be voting in favor of that. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I'll take those back. That's, I guess that should be it.
That's it. All right, thank you very much.
Thanks, chief.
Thank you.
Approval of meeting minutes from September 12th, 2016 meeting.
You need like a bottom
Got a marked up copy.
I only had two things, and they're questions, really, not corrections. On page 2, the paragraph about a third of the way down, it starts with "the bridge was last done." The last word, the project gets into the Q, C-U-E. Is that a real word?
QUE, I think,
It's
right?
QUE.
Is it QUE?
Q-U-E, that's a real word?
That's
Okay.
Q.
Yeah.
Okay, didn't know that.
Yeah.
And then on the next page, where it says about two-thirds of the way down, Selectman Hipla was disappointed. Is that supposed to be a pop-up, not a pop-up?
Easy up?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah,
Easy
easy
up.
up.
Easy up, is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Okay, not a pop-up tent. Those are the only things I have.
Easy up 10, yeah, an easy up 10. Okay. On page 1, third of the way down, the board met regarding nuisance complaints. I just want to add in non-public, met in non-public regarding nuisance complaints. Page 2, the top line, I'll read it from where it started, page 1. And Michael Hansen Construction Ltd. for the River Road Bridge, I want to say repair project instead of constructing.
Yep.
And then the next paragraph after that, in order to minimize the cost, steel repair, traffic control, painting, and sandblasting, I want to scratch out, we're pulled out and say sandblasting costs were priced separately because they are not 100% critical to the fix. And then the fourth paragraph, the proposal would not rehab the deck. We talked about the problems with the deck, but these proposals didn't address the deck at all. So
Right.
I want to insert the word not. Page 3, way down the gazebo. Team engineering will visit on September 14th, 2016 for review of the gazebo and town hall repair work. And then the last page, under other business, I'm just fixing the parade was for the Weare Athletic Club. That's it.
On the last, we were talking about these grants, 1, 2, 3, where it says the office received a letter from Police Standards. Is that the Roger Williams, not the Rogers Williams?
No, Roger Williams.
I think
Roger Williams.
Roger Williams.
Roger Williams, there's no S on
No,
Roger.
Right.
Yeah, okay. We'll take the S off Roger.
Okay.
Move to approve as amended?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
yours too.
Yeah, he has it, he has them.
He has them.
Yeah.
Manifest. Nice shorty. I move we order the treasurer to sign the payroll and accounts payable checks dated September 22nd, 2016, as included in the following manifests. Payroll manifest of $71,404.22 for weekly, monthly, and quarterly payroll, and an accounts payable manifest of $26,721.66 for a total of $98,125.88.
Second?
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. It's a lot easier to read when we come in every week.
Yeah, that's true.
I do have just a couple things that are not on the list. First of all, I have a permit. Every year we allow a gentleman to do some trapping. on the, formerly it was Gene Woods' property, it's up past the Bolton Field, and the Conservation Commission met Wednesday and approved, so they've signed their part, and the selectmen would sign the front part if you want to allow him to, Glenn DuBois, to have the ability to trap on that property again.
Did we do a motion on that before, or was it just we signed it?
There's
There's five
enough
of us.
signatures, 5 signatures, so you don't need a motion, but that's what that is.
Trouble trapping.
I wanna
So-
go back to the
Sign folder, I think we'll go.
one, I just wanna do a couple things on the River Road Bridge. Tom went back and spoke to the gentleman that was low bid and took out and told him we were taking out the sandblasting and painting. But we also were gonna ask him to paint at the shop, the ends. So it is a little bit different. They also, felt that there should be some needle scaling done where we're gonna put it together. So the 54,125 is 61,050. It's an additional, which is the needle scaling and the painting, the stuff at the shop. I can give you the difference. And I think it makes sense, Tom and I talked about how
I agree.
the needle scaling will take the
Yeah,
the rest.
didn't Public Works do that for us before?
He did it to find out how big the holes were,
Just around the areas.
just around the areas that had a circle. This is gonna do it where we're going to add it, so there's gonna be the painting done at the shop, and then there's gonna be some needle scaling done where they're gonna put them together. They're not gonna do it all,
Okay.
but it was partially in there and felt that it was a better fix.
Just not pinching in the
Yeah,
rough
so I need you just to,
revise it.
it's an additional $6,925, but still, if you look at the
Still was
numbers,
lower than the rest.
he was still way lower than the others, so I just want to make sure that you're all set with that, and if that is the case, authorize the chair to sign this so they could get started and get the steel ordered.
I move that we approved an additional $6,925 for the repair project of the River Road Bridge and authorize the chair to sign the agreement with Hanson Bridge.
I'll second it.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And when he was here last week, just to be part of that, we agreed that we'd sign for a preliminary estimate to be put into the Bridge Aid program. There is, for 3 signatures, I don't know if you need a motion, it just takes 3 signatures to apply for the River Road Bridge to be put in the queue.
Q.
QUE. First 3.
Mr. Chairman, we have a question from the crowd. Coming up the cheap seats.
We got a CIP meeting on Wednesday morning, and we're gonna talk about this bridge. Do they have an estimate for the price?
No,
of the
this
bridge
is,
for that,
this is to go ask them to have an estimate.
or- Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll put it on
Okay.
put it back on my list.
We wanna put a number on the
Pass
CIP.
that back to me.
Yeah,
Forward, yeah.
yeah, Ben's on that. Alright.
The male part of the chief.
Yeah, wow.
Not the female part.
I think I might have to cross that out.
The engineering.
That's a good idea.
The engineering to date on the bridge from Kleinfeld, I don't know if she got the check or didn't got the check in there.
Yes, I saw the
Yes,
check, I saw the
Okay.
check in there.
What you
so-
need to do is, it needs to come from here, I'm gonna take the engineering from here, and then that's probably the rest for the construction project is gonna come out between road reconstruction and the operating budget, so.
So, we need a motion, what's the name of this fund? Bridge Improvement
Yeah.
Fund. I move that we approve the expenditure of $8,522.63 from the Bridge Improvement Fund to pay for the engineering work prior to the repair on the bridge, River Road Bridge.
Second.
Any discussion?
The River Road.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And just for correspondence, I handed you, this is an old letter. You guys had asked about more fire awards. I think you need to just look at it. It starts with a chain from the bottom up. Because you are gonna see next week, the fire awards, the fire department's coming in for their budget. So we'll just,
Was this, can this be forwarded to that chairman?
Yep.
Thank you. And then if they want to discuss, maybe next week.
to just the chairman of the board of fire awards.
I mean, if they want to discuss what was, you know, the content of that,
Okay,
because there was some, maybe exchanging of hands
okay.
of some
Yeah,
responsibilities.
I can share it with him, I'll just make a copy for him. Under government buildings, the town hall doors, the check is there, once he gets it, it's gonna be 6 to 8 weeks. We've talked to the gentleman that's interested, or was interested in doing it, he's not so sure he is now, but we'll have 6 to 8 weeks to figure that out. Team engineer was out on the 14th, they looked at the gazebo and went over to the town hall and looked around over there. At the gazebo, I'll hop down to that one, they'd like to see if Benji could do a test pit to see what's around it. So we're gonna arrange to have a test pit done just to see what's around there. The DPW garage, we have an initial meeting, next week with the committee and the contractor. It'll be next week. Let's go back here. And as far as the, spires, I did reach the Crane gentleman, replied back to me, and he's gonna do it next week. He couldn't get to it this week, so he'll do it next week. The noise committee and the feasibility for the firing range, they have meetings set Wednesday, the 21st at 7 for noise, Thursday, October 6th at 7 for the firing range. We talked about River Road. Lawn care.
It says the 21st, you said the 27th, is it the
I
20?
can say most anything.
It's the
21st at 7.
It's the 21st at 7, okay.
What I did, and I didn't send these to you, and I apologize, this is the, I thought you'd like the color ones. These are what you looked at, so just take one and keep one for the lawn care, and I just want to touch base on, I added on the cemetery, the area around the Gordon Brown barns, and on all three of them, I added, because I think there was a discussion, you can tell me if I was dreaming, but, as far as payment, we talked about the end of the month, not the beginning, and so each one of them talks about at month's end.
Yep.
So I added that. So the red is what I'm adding, the strike through what we're taking away, and everything we talked about prior to, other than if you look at the cemetery on page 2 underneath, I wrote all the grassed area around the former Gordon Brown barn, red barn, must receive regular mowings as defined in 2B below, and if you look at 2B, talks about the height not to 2.5 to 3, consistent with the area. So, and then on page 3 of 4, on number 4, I just wrote at month's end. The rest stayed the same from when we talked. And then the only fire department, only added at month's end, and the same thing on the municipal at month's end.
And you took away the back one.
On the fire department, I only did the
Excellent.
fire ponds and cisterns, and the fire departments, which was the East Weare Station, South Weare Station, and the back lawn at the same center complex, all went to the municipal. So buildings were buildings and municipal properties, and then fire ponds and cisterns are fire ponds and cisterns. So there wasn't any, you do the front, I do the back. So if that's okay, I've had contractors ask to come get them. If you, I don't, if you wanna look at them, tell me it's okay next Monday, I'm okay with that too.
No, that's good.
They're the same ones we had.
Same ones you had, I just,
Made the addendums.
Right.
I'm good with them now. Do you need a motion, or you just go
nope,
ahead?
I just
and-
wanna be able to hand them out,
Yeah.
if you guys are okay with them, I'll take the
They look good to
strike
me.
through off, I'll bold it, put all the same color and hand them out.
You might just want to point out the difference in payment
Yeah.
schedule.
Yeah.
Because if it's not highlighted, just let them know that it's end of the month, that's the beginning.
Yeah, and I can always just, I'll keep my highlighted ones so I know what we made for changes anyway for those.
Mhm.
CIP, we're winding down. We're finishing up the 21st, which is Wednesday morning, and then we'll finalize on October 5th. And tentatively, not tentatively, it's gonna be permanent, the budget schedule for 17. Monday the 26th, we're gonna start with the fire department and then down through the rest of them. And I do have one other question. Not a question, I've been asked by a department head. There's this new govdeals.com, have you heard about that? And basically what it is, it's another avenue for government agencies, departments, or boards to dispose of surplus equipment. Typically, it's a site similar to eBay, but it's based on municipal or state government. And it gives the opportunity for us to offer items to the general public for sale. But before any department would use this, they'd still have to come forward and tell you they're gonna dispose of something, like going to the White Farm. Instead of going to the White Farm, it could go on the govdeals.com. So you would still have authorization to have them do it, would be my plan. But it gives another opportunity for, instead of going to the White Farm, if you want to put it out there.
The only, that's a good viable option. The only thing is, that means we hold on to it, and if we have to go.
Well, the risk you run at the White Farm, if it doesn't sell, you gotta go get it,
Yeah,
so.
but 99, there's not very often
Yeah.
that they have anything that comes back.
No.
That's what I'm saying, if we have rolling stock, I just assume get it out of it.
But I think the
I'll
idea
finance and
was
get it
if we
somewhere.
had something that we wanted to, instead of waiting for the May and October, you
Yeah.
could get rid of it
In the meantime.
before then.
Yeah,
Because October is rolling up, and if we put something out and it doesn't go, you can take it over.
Yeah.
But I think that was the option.
Yeah.
It would still come here for
or if you
authorization,
wanna
but
do it before.
it gave us another avenue.
If you can't get it on government dot, on that.
Right.
Do you put like a minimum price on it, or is it just?
I honestly don't know how it works, it was just
Well,
brought
like
to my
eBay,
attention.
they put, I've seen some, I've been on a couple of those sites for
Yeah.
different equipment, and some of it they have a minimum, it's like eBay, some of them have a minimum
Yeah.
price to start, and some of them, no, it's basically.
Well, we don't have a lot to sell, I'm just
Sell.
saying it gives us an opportunity
Yeah.
instead of hanging on to something, if something.
It's like,
Yeah.
the police get a lot of stuff
But
that
I
they
just
have to
wanna,
get court
I
ordered to
wanna
get rid
just
of bikes and stuff.
express to them that it still comes here first.
Yeah, yeah,
That's
well,
gonna-
yeah.
And it has to be municipal owned, it's not gonna be yard sale stuff. So, anyway.
Just
So
funny.
Tom, you can't put it on there.
No, it's just in the monitor, they have corner cupboard, which is
Yeah.
like, somebody's trying to sell a half a bucket of joint compound.
Some of them will take it for free.
Who's gonna buy a half a bucket of joint compound?
Never know.
And then at the end of the evening, I
Could
just
be a
have
little
a tax
crusty.
issue I'd like to discuss just quickly. The tax issue at the end, and that's all I have.
So that's under what?
See,
Okay. We are back in public comment.
anybody that
You
wants
wanna
Anybody
step
wants to
up?
say anything? It's
Step
open
right
mic.
up, Ken.
It's
Open
open
mic.
mic night.
From the cheap sheet, see, the podium.
Yeah, he moved up to the front, though.
Wow.
Right now, I
Ooh.
had a little bit of an agenda
Holy mackerel.
Yeah.
You got two,
there. I'm
didn't
learning
you?
as we go.
You
I
can chew
think-
us
I think-
out, you can tell us that we're doing a good job, you can sing, you can do
Yeah,
whatever
you
you
can
want.
step
Yeah.
right up, Ken.
All right.
If you look right underneath, there's a karaoke machine.
You have to tell us who you are.
All right, so my name's Ken Miner. I'm a town resident, and I'm just coming here to make a suggestion for consideration. Not sure if it's the right ears and eyes, but we'll start here. So, anyways, I was down at Purington Field last weekend and made an observation that there's a lot of vehicles that pass through there during lots of sporting events. And it really bothered me that this big truck was coming through there at such great speed, which sounded like the pedal was down all the way. And there's a lot of kids rolling around. I was trying to think, we really ought to consider doing something around here. I don't know what the speed limit is, to be honest with you, but I don't think it really matters what it is. I don't think that person was really obeying that speed anyways. So I thought maybe it'd be worthwhile to consider putting in some temporary seasonal speed bumps if there's even such a thing, because I think we know that permanent speed bumps are out of the question.
Yeah.
But something that could be rolled out during the time of the year when these kids are out there, and then could be taken up before winter, so that we can maybe help promote at least a little bit better safety for during those events.
We have to talk to Benji about that.
Yeah.
Road 8, Highway Department.
Yeah, somebody just brought that up last week about putting them out on Pine Hill. too.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Well, I won't lie, I live on Pine Hill.
Yeah, I know.
I heard a little bit about that, and that's what kind of kept me into it. And happened to be just standing right there at the field, and but you know, it's kind of interesting how these things sort of tie in. But
Has it calmed down up there?
yeah, I mean, well, and right afterwards, shortly afterwards, there was a young girl that actually ran towards the street, and her mother cried out, and it made everybody's head whip. And she wasn't running into the street, but she was right at street edge, which there's a lot of cars that park through there. It gets really busy down at some of these places, and kids are typical running around and not
Get the kids.
necessarily looking. And so maybe if there was something to physically cause somebody to slow down, aside from a printed speed limit sign, then maybe that might be more effective. So that's all I really want to bring to the meeting tonight.
Thank you.
All right, thanks for listening.
Okay, Ken, thanks.
Actually, if the speed bump idea isn't liable, you know, what you were saying you use on your street
Yeah.
for your own children, it seems like that would be a very legal and effective thing to do, to set a
It's
sign
effective, I
out
don't
in the middle of
Yeah,
the
it's
street.
not exactly legal, so that's what it's.
Well,
yeah.
but I mean, during the time when the
During
game was
events,
going
yeah.
on there,
Yeah,
to set out something that would just
Well, I know
say
we
caution
put
children right in the
cones
middle.
out to keep people from parking in front of the driveways and the residents that live across the street, but I think cones in the road with, kind of like the crosswalk signs
That's what I
that
was
you
thinking,
see
once
when you
you're
go
on
down
Yeah.
through
Those are put in by the town, then it's one thing, but if you put it out there on your own and somebody clobbers it, then
Well, no, the town, I think.
Yeah, but I mean,
During an event.
during the
So
event,
it's-
they can put them out, yeah,
Still
at the
throw it back
town,
in the
Yeah,
shed when
right.
it's over.
yeah, and with the permission of the board, then it's being done by the town.
Right.
and the road agent,
I'm sure you can
Signs
get
on board.
volunteers during those events.
Yeah.
Right, your
The coaches
volunteers.
are pretty busy getting set up, but there's a pretty strong parental.
Couple parents take 5 minutes to throw it
there you go.
I mean, hey, you know what? I would be very happy to do it.
Talk to-
That might be more possible than the speed bumps.
Well, we should
No.
look at the speed bumps too, but I think,
They have the temporary ones you roll out, and they just pin them, and then you pick them up when they're done, when they go to
Are
plow.
those the ones with the spikes?
Now, there's a couple places I'd like to put them reversed, with the spikes.
Now.
okay. Correspondence. What we have is an email string from Laura Spector regarding the Board of Fire Awards and our roles. Comparing the roles of the Board of Fire Awards and the Board of Selectmen to the role of the Board of the Library Trustees and the Board of Selectmen. Are there any overlaps? Are there similarities? What's the difference? And she has some ideas that we should consider and share with the Board of Fire Awards and see what their thoughts are.
Yep.
Any other business?
Anything further on the truck warranty?
Sue must have been gone, because I went by there and there was no car either.
I think I saw her yesterday morning.
No,
I'm not sure.
okay, then she's probably got emails, I'm probably down the
Okay.
chain.
What do you ask?
Just about warranty information.
He was looking for
both
warranty
fire-
information on engine 2.
There was,
Engine 2, right?
yeah, there was an invoice in the manifest last week that raised an eyebrow to me.
Warranty.
Yeah, potentially could have been a warrantable issue that maybe should be, covered and reinvestigated, so I just wanna make sure.
Any other business? Nothing? Okay, I guess we need to go to non-public.
Under C, and then we won't be coming back.
We won't be coming back. We'll be coming back, just not tonight.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Everyone.
Well, it was more directed at your other half, so.
I move we go into non-public under 91A32C.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
I-
Aye, aye, aye.